in the Christian season known as Advent. Advent is the start of the liturgical year for Christians. It begins usually before the start of December, 4 Sundays prior to Christmas. So it's usually the last weekend in November. Despite what your Advent calendars and Advent candles will say, Advent is 4 weeks long. It's not 25 days. It's slightly over that. So it's ironic, really, that I have moved now to make steps to buy the Jennyfields property, because the theme of Advent is preparation. Preparation, obviously, in the Christian sense, for one of the major feasts of Christianity, which is the Festival of the Incarnation. I'm well aware, as many scholars will tell you, that Christ was probably not born on the 25th of December. Really, it's the idea of the liturgical calendar isn't that such and such happened on exactly that date. That's not the point of it. The point is that all dates that need to be remembered are included somewhere in the year. It's a structure for the year. And the first season is 4 weeks long, and it's called Advent, which is a time of preparation. And of course it's a time of preparation for me as well, because I'm now preparing to leave Granville and to start more or less a new life in my own home, in a home that I will have owned. This is the first time I've done this. I've never been on the property ladder before, and there's a lot of steps and processes to go through. And if you've been following my blog over the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks, you will know how far I've got so far. This week was mainly getting the searches started. There are 2 sets of things that are going on. There is the legal side of selling and buying, which involves basically a team of lawyers, and they do searches on the property, they do searches on the buyers, they do searches on the sellers, to make sure that what is being sold is exactly what it is, if that makes sense. And that involves land registry, it involves deed documents, it involves a whole host of questionnaires and stuff like that. The process for that is 2 weeks, and we wanted to start that this week on Monday. It was delayed until Wednesday, and the reason for that was because the mortgage that we had arranged last week failed, basically. We were on a 5-year fixed term contract of about $298 per calendar month, and when we started to move towards making the application for that, the banks asked it for proof that my salary would rise enough in 5 years so that when the mortgage was rearranged, it would lose its guarantor status. Now, that's not a small rise, and what we discovered was that this was really a specialist type of mortgage that was really being given to training professionals. So, for example, if you were doing a pharmacy degree and you were training at the same time, so you were working on the job, you could take out this mortgage in the knowledge that in 5 years' time you would have graduated and got a proper job, and with the proper job comes the huge pay rise, and you'd be fine. Obviously, I'm not in that situation. So they desperately had to search around for another mortgage, and the financial advisor did very well, in fact. And within 2 days, he had arranged another. Now, this is only a 3-year fixed contract. We thought that was a little bit too soon, but there we are. You know, beggars can't be choosers at the end of the day. It's slightly more in terms of paying back as well. It's more around the 300 mark rather than sort of the 295 mark. So it's a couple of quid more. But in the end we had to sort of go with that basically, and by the Wednesday that had been sorted out, and so we advised the lawyers that they may begin their searches. Now that takes about 2 weeks, so we've got another good week and a half of that left. In the meantime, today we had arranged to actually do the mortgage application, which is why I'm dressed like this, and it involved me and my guarantors going into the estates, sitting down and meeting the financial guarantor, because we've had sort of phone conferences before, but we never met in person. And so we had to meet, we had to fill in a load of forms, and hopefully he can get that rolling now. The next step of that is that once the application is made, the mortgage people are going to want to check that what we're asking for is at least covered by the value of the house. And so they will have to send a team of people out to the house to do an inspection. Now I was under the impression that this would take only about a week and a half, but the financial advisor said, you know, be prepared for it to take about 3 weeks, which I was a little bit unhappy about, and I did say that, and he's going to do his best to sort of speed things up, because we really want completion to come about by Christmas. And of course we've only got 4 weeks to Christmas, and not forgetting that the lawyers probably don't work right up to Christmas. So we would like, you know, basically by the middle of this month to have everything like that with the mortgage and the searches done, so that we only have that third week for signing the contracts. He said that was a little bit hopeful, but he's going to see what he can do. So I am a bit miffed off about that, because I had wanted to be in by Christmas, and there's still a possibility, but realistically we're looking at January now. At least we are well on the way, and I can say, look, we are definitely moving, which is a good thing. There's not much else to report this week. We've got one prayer request, and that is from Chris on the forum, who has lost his job. And so obviously I think he's got a family to support, so we need to be praying that he can somehow get a new job, or something will come up there. I also said a couple of weeks ago that I wanted to start sort of informing you about some of the persecutions of Christians around the globe. This week I have heard of a South Sudanese refugee camp that was bombed by the north of Sudan. In Myanmar there has been a grenade attack launched against a Christian orphanage. In Vietnam and in India there have been Christian churches attacked. Kazakhstan has shut all prayer rooms in state institutions. That includes things like prisons and health hospitals and stuff. And that's not just for Christian, that's any religions. Why they've done that, nobody quite knows. That's something that the Kazakhstan government, one presumes, has made a law about. So there we are. It's always important. There's not a lot you can do about these issues, of course, but it's nice. I think it's important that we're aware that there are some Christians in other parts of the world who are actually still under physical attack. And that's really my blog for this week. So, be seeing you.